Toy lines in the 80s and 90s were a booming business. When you had the perfect cartoon combined with the perfect toy line, sales would go through the roof. Now, of course, back in the day, lots of toys got produced, but there's some unproduced toys out there. Some concepts never saw the light of day. Some toys never went beyond that first shot prototype phase. Today on edsretrogeekout, we're gonna take a look at 8 unproduced toys that were just at the brink of being produced from really big toy lines. So yeah, strap in for some toy history. The first toy line we're going to take a look at is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, my favorite toy line, and there was one transforming, mutating toy in there that never saw its release. If we check back to the 1993 Playmates toy catalog, we see the TMNT Muta Party Wagon. This toy, unfortunately, was never released. Now, back in 1993, TMNT comics were still going strong. We were in the 7th season of the cartoon animated series. At the same time, the 3rd installment of the action movie got released as well, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Not well received, and there was also another toy line on the rise. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was taking over. It appeared to be an uncertain time for Playmates, and what toys they were going to release, they released a lot during those years, 1993 and 1994, so I think there's a lot more that got scrapped from production. This was supposed to be part of the mutation line, and later on they did release some vehicles with mutating qualities. Now, the Muta Party Wagon was supposed to be 19 inches tall, with a pizza cannon and a huge katana blade. It was basically the classic TMNT vehicle you already have, but this time it could mutate itself into a giant fighting robot turtle, the meanest metallic monster those footfools will ever see, with fully articulated arms as well.
Let's say we check out the pizza situation.
Honestly, I don't get it why this thing was never released. I mean, it's 2 turtle toys in one. Probably it was too expensive to produce, and putting it out there, something that kind of looks like a product that was already out, might have been too expensive for the time. So obviously it's very unfortunate this Muta Party Wagon never got released, but there's a prototype out there. I mean, there's pictures, so if anybody has this, let me know.
Tell me about this army of yours.
Next, we're taking a look at the Masters of the Universe toy line. At the very end of the toy line in 1987, some promotional pictures circulated of a really giant dinosaur. It was a robot dinosaur that He-Man could ride in, and it was called Gigantosaur. This was supposed to be part of the Powers of Grayskull line. The other dinosaurs like Turbodactyl and Binotops did see a release. Some of them came in the package that set the Power of Grayskull, some didn't. The Powers of Grayskull was a cancelled line in which the characters would travel back in time through a secret time portal and discover the origin of the Powers of Grayskull. You would learn how He-Man became so strong and explore the magical world of Pre-Eternia, home of Hero, the most powerful wizard in the universe. Monstrous dinosaurs and fierce giants, both good and evil, struggle for the control in this strange and hostile land. Now, a couple of these dinosaurs did see a release, like Tyrannosaurus Rex, Binotops, and Turbodactyl. They each possess a fantastic magical power. Can Hero master all the good magic of the ancient wizards and protect future Eternia from forever falling into the claws of evil? The Power of Grayskull, coming your way in 1987. Now, if we take a look at these promo pages, you're gonna see Gigantosaur is huge. He's giant. He's so freaking big. I don't think they ever produced a dinosaur playable playset. Is it a playset? I'm not sure. I don't think they ever produced something as big as this. But obviously, Masters of the Universe was used to putting out really big playsets like Eternia. On the promo pages, we do see what Gigantosaur had to offer for kids back in the 80s. He would have a cannon door. As you can see, your favorite Masters of the Universe figure sitting on it. There's a latch opening it up, and out of the dinosaur you see a cannon. There's also a belly door because you can actually feed your toys or your action figures to this giant dinosaur, and to put the cherry on top, there's a lever which automatically rears up this toy, so he will go into a standing position. You can throw in your toys, he will eat them, and down in the belly door you can find them again. Now, I also found a couple of drawings showing the toy in a way smaller size maybe compared to the 3 dinosaurs that were released. And yeah, this is definitely an idea they had been playing with, but I think the toy was just too big, and honestly, it didn't have enough features for me as a kid, I think, to get such a big toy. It would have probably come with a hefty price tag, and I don't think it had enough to offer, unfortunately. Another interesting fact, on these promo pages you can actually see the other 2 giants that were only released in Mexico and Europe. Those giants are freaking insane. So yeah, it's unfortunate that the Powers of Grayskull line got cancelled. At least we have the promo pages, and there is supposed to be a prototype out there somewhere. Next toy line we're going to take a look at is Jurassic Park. Oh yeah, this is Jurassic Park's Triceratops, also known as the Trike. That's his code name. He was planned to be released in the short-lived second series of the Lost World toy line, and it's speculated that he didn't see a release because maybe the horns might have been too dangerous. When kids were playing with it, it would stick out an eye or something like that. But hey, promo pictures were made, so they could have pulled the trigger on producing this lovely Trike toy. The toy would have a function of a ramming head attack by moving the tail, and it would mimic the head moves like the Trike moves his head in the movie when he's destroying Ludlow's tent. Also thrown in with the toy would be a Dino Hunter's tent and removable dino damage piece that we've all grown to love from the first series. Actually, the figure would have been quite big. It would have been a 13-inch dinosaur. Now, there's a bunch of prototypes out there. It's not just one. Some were painted, some weren't. Unfortunately, the toy was never put into production, so there aren't a lot of prototypes out there for you to collect. We do see in these promotional pictures show a kind of camo color scheme going on. Some gray and some blue. I really like that blue on this Trikey. It's just unfortunate this toy never got produced. Then the 4th toy line we're going to take a look at is Ghostbusters with Egon's Lab. This is considered to be a holy grail for all the Ghostbusters collectors out there. Now, due to poor sales and near cancellation of the cartoon, the project got interrupted and the line got cancelled. Egon's Lab, together with other concepts to be released during 1991 and 1992, never saw the light of day. They're ghosts, you might say. Who are you gonna call? Now, what did this playset have to offer? It had a levitation feature. You could pop a figure on there and then use a lever to levitate your figure because it's getting haunted by the machinery. Ghost hands pop out of the machinery as well, and you had a ghost smasher, which was a hammer-like thing, allowing you to hammer the ghost into the containment unit. And there's also like 3 wires out there to test the ghost before you put them into the containment unit. But I guess I shouldn't be explaining this. They did do a toy catalog description of the toy. So with Egon's new lab, kids can analyze and store all sorts of ghosts. First, examine ghosts with 3 probes, then smash them into the containment unit. But watch out, capture ghosts can hunt the equipment and cause the Ghostbusters to rise in the air. And it comes with a really cool companion ghost in cute orange. Now, there was a 3D printed reproduction made by fans for the community. A very limited amount of those were made by BAM Toy Co. Next up is Transformers Robots in Disguise Unicron. If you've seen the Transformers movie, you've heard about Unicron. He's the big planet transformer. He's a planet. Yeah, so it needed a really big toy to accomplish what was already set up in the cartoon and the movie. In the G1 line, multiple prototypes were created but never released. The first prototype was made by Takara. It was a green and yellow robot that came with a base, and you had a moon circulating around it. You know, it was kind of set up like a planetary system. There was also a lights and sound gimmick introduced. It was planned to interact with a infrared gun. You would have the gun inside of the moon and it would interact with the toy base itself. But when we take a look at the pictures of the existing prototype and you take a look at the rub sign, you would see that it is kind of small though. So next up, a longer version was created by Takara and Hasbro. This was a blue and yellow finished toy. It had a different kind of ring Going around the toy this time around, no moon laser gun, but a voice chip and planet microphone was added. Accessories would have been a gun and a blue shield that would unfold and cover the yellow part of his chest in planet mode. Now we did see this prototype surfacing at BotCon in '96, but the toy was scrapped due to cost concerns, flimsy arms, and a faulty voice chip. And even though the prototype was supposed to be the tallest robot planned at the time of release, it would have still been shorter than Force Maximus. So I'm kind of guessing that the toy did cost a lot. They needed to add really cool features, but the voice chip wasn't working. They simply didn't get the prototype to function enough, unfortunately. Now if we fast forward to today, Hasbro is actually releasing a Unicron in the War for Cybertron line. This figure will be 27 inches high, weigh around 19 pounds, and have a price tag of $575 with 50 points of articulation, 15 in the limbs alone. That is one hell of a figure, and it should see its release somewhere next year. People have already pre-ordered it 2 years ago. It was kind of a Kickstarter thing that they based the production on, so I'm excited to see the finished product of this Unicron toy. In the next toy line, we did learn that knowing is half the battle, but we don't even know half about this G.I. Joe train set that was never released. The G.I. Joe train was created to offer kids a new playing pattern with G.I. Joe, and even though they were inspired by the Lionel's and American Flyers military toy trains of the 50s and 60s, they were going to go with reused and already existing Playskool molds of, Playskool kiddie trains, trying to use those molds to keep the costs down for this production. But unfortunately, the toy never saw its release. It didn't get a green light. Management thought that the cost would still be too big for consumers to get it. So unfortunately, the kids of the 90s missed a train on this fun vehicle playset that would have come with a track and 4 modules, being the engine, a large cannon, an even larger cannon, and a freight wagon. It was also featured in some G.I. Joe trading cards as an unreleased toy card. My mind does wonder that if this toy did get released in 1991 and the mold got repurposed for the 1995 and 96 fluorescent type of G.I. Joe toys, that would have been freaking amazing. Seeing like a fluorescent train you could pop your G.I. Joes in. It would have like a Play-Doh compatibility to make, like crystals or something like that. It would have been cool. But unfortunately, yeah, too many problems arose while creating this train, and it derailed the train's production in 1991. In the number 7 spot, we got Thundercats Thundercats Ho with the Mad Bubbler. This toy is also sought after. It is considered another holy grail amongst Thundercats collectors. But it's just one of many toys that didn't see the light of day in the LJN toy line. The Mad Bubbler did appear in a LJN mini catalog as part of the Rampagers. It was featured alongside the Driller and Stinger figure. Both of those figures are rare as hell to find out in the wild. They are out there, but they are expensive. They are actual rare toys. And it's really a shame it never saw a release, this Mad Bubbler, because he was in the cartoon. That was the deal back in the day when you were a kid. You saw a toy in a cartoon, and a couple weeks later, it would be in the store in a toy form, and you can buy it. Now, the toy went through various concept designs and had one finalized version, which we can see in the catalog. The colors are different from the cartoon colors, and there were a couple of prototypes created for this one. Now, there's a bunch of customizers out there who make custom figures which you can commission to make your very own Mad Bubbler, and that's probably the only way you're going to get this toy, because due to cancellation of the entire LJN line, this toy never saw the light of day. Except if Eye of Tundera can give me sight beyond sight.
I don't know what exactly the attachment is. I think they're cute, but kind of funny looking.
Now, the last prototype we're going to talk about in this video came from the vintage Star Wars line, and is the rocket-firing Boba Fett prototype. Now, I wasn't sure about popping this one in because Boba Fett did come out as a toy figurine. It just wasn't released with that function, so it is pretty much an unproduced function on a toy that we're discussing right now. But due to Boba Fett being so well known in the toy community, I figured I might as well just throw him in with these 8 unproduced toys. Now, it's commonly known that the toy was altered due to Battlestar Galactica toys with a similar rocket firing function hurting kids, and one kid eventually passed away due to the wounds that he received from this rocket firing toy, but also toys back then needed to commit to choking hazard standards. The rocket that came with the Boba Fett didn't fit the tube, so it was considered a choking hazard. About 100 of prototypes have been made, and about 25 of those have been accounted for in other collectors' rooms. Now there's two versions of the prototype out there. One is the L-slot mechanism, and the other is the J-slot mechanism. Almost all of these were unpainted, some with a little bit of yellow, and there was one seen on a card at one of the Toy Fair expos. Boba Fett first appeared in the holiday special, and that's why he was gonna get a figure.
Settle down.
He was also a mail away, and at first you needed to send in 4 proof of purchase seals to get the rocket firing toy. However, what you got in the mail was a toy that had a missile glued to the figure, and you did get a sorry note from Kenner indicating that the rocket feature was removed from the toy due to safety reasons, and if you weren't happy with this toy, they would gladly send you another one. And those were the first 8 toys I picked out for my Unproduced Toys series, or Toy History series. I'm not quite sure what I should be calling this series yet. Maybe leave it down in the comments below if you know of another unproduced toy I should be featuring in another upcoming video. Leave it down in the comments below as well. As always, you can subscribe to the channel, you can hit that notification bell, leave a like, leave a comment, and maybe follow me on my socials, Instagram or Facebook. I hope to see you next week in an all new video, because I put out videos weekly for 80s and 90s kits. So yeah, have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one. See you later. Bye!